Just recently I discovered something disturbing about my helicopter, my second-hand helicopter. Like the leading edge of the blades are going forward. My tail rotor is rotating in the wrong direction. It's wrong. So I need to fix it. I'm going to loosen the tail boom at this end and take the belt off this pulley and see if I can tell which way it's twisted. So I'll have to loosen up this block here and also this fin because it's attached down at the bottom here. It doesn't rotate very freely. It's got a really rough rotation. So I'm still not happy with that chunky tail, so I might replace it with this one. However, this one, the shaft is bent. Fairly obvious from the correct angle. You can see it wobble. So I'm going to have to replace the shaft in that piece. Now, I have this spare shaft. Let's see if I can get that old shaft out. I wasn't sure how to take it apart, so I just started taking things apart. It was probably a bad idea, but I did it anyway. There's actually a bolt right there. I'm actually going to put that back on, clean it off, put some more Loctite on, and screw it back in. There we go. Someone really put the Loctite to this. I should take that set screw out so that I remember to clean it and put fresh Loctite on it. And that's the whole thing. And the shaft is fairly obviously bent. Next, this whole plate has to come off. And I'm going to take that belt idler pulley off too, because those cause problems, apparently, from what I've heard. This one is stripped. Well, the head is stripped, so when I put my tool in it, it just spins in the head. I still have to get that out somehow. This is my solution. Small vice grips. Haha! There we go. It would probably still slip, but since there isn't very much resistance, that is one disgusting chewed up bolt. So now, I should be able to remove this plate. These spacers falling out on me, because there's nothing to hold them. I'll leave that idler pulley off and I'll put in the new shaft. Just do a quick check, make sure they're same length. They look the same to me. There's a nice little bearing down there. Wonder if that bearing is bad. Feels like it should be a little bit smoother, but it's not bad. Here I have put together the tail again. The first time I tried it, I put it all together, I put Loctite on it, and then I tried to turn the shaft, and it was really tight. So I went and found some more pieces, another tail that had been taken apart, and more bearings. These pieces each have bearings in them. And the original ones, the shaft turned in them, but it was a little bit rough. So I went and stole those pieces from another tail, and it was smoother. So I picked out the best bolts that were around, and I put it all back together again. I haven't tightened it a whole lot, which could be good. Probably it doesn't need to be super tight, but it runs a lot smoother. Like, I can pull that belt through there and it's really smooth, which is what I want. So I think I will go back again, take all of those out and put Loctite on them, because I think this is my final setup with that tail. I don't know if I'll take that plastic piece off or not. I have some carbon fiber ones. This one's obviously been in the mud before, which is probably how that shaft got bent, that shaft that was in it. So I'm gonna go and put Loctite on those. Taking them out one by one, cleaning them with methyl alcohol. Put a little bit of Loctite on them, just at the end, because that's the only part that's going into threads. And now I'm just going to tighten them a bit with my other tool. Now I'm going to go and put the rest of the tail assembly on. If I can remember how that goes. So that bolt goes in that, and then I slide that over there. The shaft goes on too. Go on. There. So I have the rotor hub on, and I even put the tail blades on. I actually had a lot of trouble putting this hub on the shaft. The hub actually fits some of the other shafts I have, and the other hub that I have fit this shaft, but this hub and this shaft did not like each other. So I had to take it down and actually support the other end of the shaft with a punch and a vise, and then pound this on with a nice brass punch and a little hammer and push that onto the shaft. So it'll be difficult to get off because it was a very tight fit, but with a puller or other means you can get that off of that shaft. And I put the set screw in too, so that's in there. Now I need to actually get this on the helicopter, which means taking the old one off and putting this new one on and making sure the belt is twisted the right direction and the belt tension is correct as well. So here's my other tail, the one that's all chunky. So I need to loosen these bolts here that you can't see, but they're in this plastic piece, to loosen that tail assembly, and then I'll slide it out. If I have those loosened off, I need to remove the push rod from the bottom of this with my ball link pliers. And then this should come off. Should being the key word. I don't know. So, as it turns out, there is a sort of nubby thing and a hole in the shaft, which you can't see on this side. But that little thing went in the hole in the shaft, which meant that I couldn't slide it off. I had to undo all the screws around the edge and pull it off like that. So, tail does not slide off the way you expect it to. And this one has no indication of a nubby thing. This is smooth inside. Now I can pull my belt through. So, I'm going to twist tight to the old one. And then I'm going to pull it through. The last thing I have to do here is belt tension. Right now the belt is really loose. I just pushed it in there and I just put it on the pulley. So what I'm going to do is pull out on this shaft until the belt tightens up a little bit. So now it's a bit tighter. It's this diagram here. I don't know, halfway between that middle and the other side. So right now mine is probably too much slack because it goes right together on that other side. It's too easy to push it way past that center line. That's closer to what I want. And it depends on where you push on it. Like if you push on it back here, it goes past quite a bit, but if you push on a little closer to the pulley, I might tighten that up a little bit. Another way to tell is if it spins nice and freely, which it does. The last couple things that I did was that I tightened these bolts in this block. I plugged my gyro back in. I tightened up my horizontal fin because I had loosened that so that I could slide the tail through that hole. And I just double checked everything on the tail. I tightened up this end so that it wouldn't move. I just checked the tightness of my tail fins and tightened those up a little bit more. And I've just been double checking, making sure that it spins forward when the blades are spinning forward, and just last minute checks like that to make sure that I haven't missed anything. And when I tightened this up, I made sure that it was vertical. The fin was vertical and the tail assembly was in line with the helicopter.